Hi, my dear Astro family. Today we are going to be talking about the upcoming new moon, which is going to be taking place on the 17th of July, 24 degree of Cancer. So hopefully you will like this video. I'm going to break it down briefly to the 12 signs as well, but I truly recommend listening to the first part of it as well, because I'm going to give you loads of information about this general forecast, which you just need to be able to implement into your own house position as well. Now, I am going to be starting to teach you about North Node and the South Node in signs, houses, as well as what it represents in your chart, how to explore what your karmic journey is. And also, we will be talking about how to predict with the nodes. Now, this course is going to start on the 16th of July. So if you are interested, you might want to sign up for it. If you cannot attend uh, online, then I will be providing recordings and PDF files as well so that you can follow the class with me. And in case you have got any questions, you can drop me an email, and I'm more than happy to answer your questions. The link will be in the description box below, so you can check it out. Now, let's get started with this new moon in the sign of Cancer. So first of all, let's get the details out quickly. 17th of July, 24 degree of Cancer, and it is going to fall onto Aries dwat. So I like pairing the planetary energy with the dwat because it gives you an additional layer. Now, when we pair Cancer and Aries, then it's about fighting for our home country, but fighting also for our home as well. So it can be, for example, something to do with fight on the real estate market, or the real estate market might become a lot more volatile overall. Maybe the prices are going to go up or down, the rental prices. Maybe there are going to be some changes, for example, in the real estate market, such as, what is the notice period, for example, or how much tax you need to pay if you're renting your property out, and these type of stuff. Especially because there is a Pluto opposition to this new moon, and Pluto is in the sign of Capricorn, which is about the power of the government. But also, it could talk to you about pioneering the patriots. So, calling up, for example, members of the countries, the inhabitants of the countries, to do something for their own benefit and for the benefit of the country as well. But this pairing talks to you about emotional individuality. So pretty much it's about caring for yourself, not just physically, but emotionally as well. What you are going to do to feel better inside out. Loving yourself is a major topic here. But also, it could talk to you about having an argument with a mother figure, for example, or nurturing who you are inside out. Obviously, Aries represents the self, and Cancer represents the family or the country you live in. So, me versus others can be a major topic as well. Some of you might decide to leave the family nest behind and want to be relocating, for example. But Aries is about passion as well. So, being passionate about having a family, wanting to get pregnant, pioneering the members of the family, wanting to take care of your family, wanting to look at where you come from and where you are heading, for example, in this lifetime or at this moment of your life, can be a major topic as well. But psychologically, it would indicate that you are trying to pry open the shell you are in. So, to a certain extent, it's about getting out of your comfort zone and daring to come out of the shell of the crab. It's going to be an intense process for you because this new moon is being opposed by Pluto. But I'm going to break it down for you step by step. So I gave you a little bit of a summary, briefly what it means. Now, this new moon will have a number of aspects going on. So there is an opposition to Pluto. There is a sextile to Uranus, a square to the asteroid called Eris, we have got a trine to Neptune, and also we have got a square to Haumea as well. So we've got loads to uncover here. First of all, what is a new moon? When there is a new moon, there is an opportunity for you to plant the seeds to start fresh. So it's great to set intentions around this time. It would represent new beginnings, a new start of something, and new ways of doing things as well. So you might want to be looking at where the new moon is falling in your natal chart by house position, because that could show what area of life you need to restart again and maybe starting something fresh. Now, of course, this new moon is all about feelings, intimate feelings, getting in touch with them. It gets intensified by Pluto, right? Which is Pluto is the planet of research and digging deep and bringing something up the surface as well. So some of your feelings needs to be brought up to the surface, but of course it's an opposition. So it's not easy, which pretty much tells us that, you know what, in the society, Capricorn, I need to look strong, I need to have stability, right? But inside of me, I feel extremely weak and vulnerable. And that's the Cancerian part here. So this new moon with Pluto invites you to dig up your own fears, to look at your deepest desires. And you know what? To put your pride aside as well. Because sometimes asking for help is okay. And the help is going to be on the way too. So we need to be able to accept support from others. But also, Pluto in the sign of Capricorn is always about breaking down some barriers. So we are breaking down emotional barriers here, knowing that, you know what, sometimes there are the little devils telling us one thing in our head when our desire is completely different, but we do not dare to get going. And remember, it is falling onto Aries what, right? So there is the desire to initiate something new here. But Pluto, our fears might be holding us back. But the fears are empowering also. The only way we can face them is to go against them. Yes, in negative manifestations, this could talk to you about paranoia or uh, or a fear of changing your lives. Because what if it's not gonna get any better? So there are some fear-driven emotional actions what we might get into here. So the solution here is to go within and examine what is holding us back. Your intuition can be extremely powerful as well. Remember, your intuition are going to tell you whether you are on the right track, you are making the right decisions or not. And if you have got a slight worry, then Pluto says to do a little bit more of the digging, research, so you can get more data. Also, it is an invitation to trust yourself. This is the inner knowing combination. And of course, safety is extremely important for all of us, but sometimes you're going to have to take risks as well, taking the chance on ourselves and trusting the universe that it has got our own back. Remember, there is this Neptune trine to it as well, which is the representation of the trust of the intuition, the trust that, you know what, even if we do something wrong, you know what, it was meant to be that way because something better is on the way. Yes, this new moon can emphasize, issues around the mother or mothering as well. So often, Pluto indicates that we are meant to be digging up some of our childhood memories, right? So, and it's an opposition, so it's a balance, right? What type of mother I am, what type of mother I had, how to balance those out, but also what are these painful childhood memories which are actually might be holding us back, causing us some type of wound. And this wound is triggering our comfort and security zone overall. Obviously, it's about emotional security, and Pluto can indicate that something is happening which is going to shake up our emotional stability. So you might not feel safe or secure or stable in yourself, in your own skin. right? And you are trying to overcompensate to kind of soothe yourself or even to soothe other people around you as well. Definitely, this new moon is inviting you to care for yourself a lot more. Do you care a lot for your family members, or do you actually care for yourself a little bit as well? It's time to look at that too. You know what? It's definitely also about bravery as well. So being brave to show emotional vulnerability, it's being brave to actually once asking for support from your family members because you need that. It's about transforming your own feelings too, right? If you have been pessimistic, then it's time to be a little bit more optimistic. If you have been all optimistic, then maybe we're going to have to look at the data and the facts all together as well. Pluto is retrograde. So most likely this new moon refers to any type of experiences which is gonna get going internally. But whatever is going on internally, the opposition always brings that uh on a physical level as well. So we are going to be attracting that because the oppositions is something where there is this internal struggle going on, especially when planets are involved retrograde as well. And most likely this Pluto has been trying to get you go deep since about October 2022. So you might want to be looking back what was going on in your life around that. Now, this new moon is also highlighting the nodal shift as well, which I did make a video about for all the 12 signs, right? The nodes are changing on the very same day as well. And Pluto gets highlighted here because we've got this cardinal T square going on with Pluto and the nodes. And also, as I said, we have got Humaya and Aries involved in this story as well. Now, the exact square is going to be happening on 3 days between Pluto and the nodes. 22nd, 25th, and the 28th of July. So those days might be very important to look at how you feel, what you're going to be doing, what you are initiating, how powerful you feel. Because this could be the next 5 months, which is going to be colored by this aspect, surely, right? The choices you make might be very fear driven. You know, Pluto represents focus, fear, power, but also this is creation as well. So you're going to have to distinguish here which way you're going. Am I going to be fearful of something or am I going to go against my fear and create something? So for me, this new moon is the new moon of manifestation. It's about knowing that you have got your right to exist. Also, it's about awakening your inner authority. And maybe one of the question is whether you are too dependent on, for example, family members. And Pluto in Capricorn wants to be successful. So what does success mean to you? What is holding you back emotionally to align with your own success? Of course, when we start digging into Cancer a little bit deeper, you know, Cancer has got that protective shell around it, right? It's a cardinal sign. It's the beginning of the summer, you know, it's full on passion. But at the same time, you know, it's in a crab. It's very caring, very sensitive, but very cautious as well, right? This is the first sign when we get in touch with our emotions. And if you think about the crab, you know, it moves backwards. So it's about releasing something from the past, you know, rather than going for the dreams. And sometimes we manipulate others as well with that Pluto, right? Because we want to keep our loved one, for example, around forever because it gives us emotional security. But definitely, this is a very, you know, Cancer is a water sign. It gives form to water, right? And water does need a form. So it's very intuitive. They know what you feel. They know what you need as well. Of course, you know, Cancer is about birth and life. It talks about pregnancy and death at the same time. So with the Pluto aspect there, this is definitely about a renewal of the self. I mean, Cancer is a mother archetype, so you could talk about mother complexes as well. It is inviting you to get in touch with your feminine side also, by the way. Um, Now, that's probably the Plutonian element to it, what I pretty much wanted to share. Cancer wants to go back to the old ways. It wants to always revisit the past, but Pluto is a little bit pushing to make these changes, right? And maybe the excuses are that I have to pay the bill, I have to protect my kids, I have to do this and that. But when you look at the helping forces of this new moon, we have got a sextile to Uranus, right? So the sextile is a way to get out of this emotional turmoil. And that is about non-care attitude a little bit, right? It's about, you know, doing something in a completely different way, modernized ways as well, or getting in touch with the friends or being part of a group, for example, or examining who am I surrounded by? Are these manipulative people, empowering people, right? Pluto can be manipulation, but also empowerment as well at the same time, right? Or because Uranus is in the sign of Taurus, obviously it brings in the finances, but Uranus also represents the tribe as well. So who is my tribe? Who I belong to? And of course, Uranus in the sign of Taurus could talk about the cost of living, and also when it comes to sell and purchase of properties. So that might be a case here too. And we have got this trine to Neptune as well. And you know what, I did mention that already, but Neptune is very much about spirituality. So knowing that the universe has got our own back, but also that we can get connected by compassionate love, knowing that we are all falling under the same umbrella. But with Neptune and Uranus, it's about accepting differences, that we are all different. I mean, interesting because this Neptune and Uranus making a finger of God configuration with Venus, right? And Venus is just about to go retrograde as well. So, and Venus is the planet of love. So it could talk about change of love, change of financial situation, but also how we control our loved ones or how we control ourselves to love, you know, others or just the self overall. But maybe it's about how we are controlling our finances as well. So I feel like, that this new moon is somehow in a shadow way connected to the Venus and Venus retrograde in the sign of Leo, which I also made a video about, by the way. Now we do have got a square to Humaya. Now I did make a video about Humaya, so I'm just going to give you a little bit of an interpretation here quickly. But Humaya is the Hawaiian goddess of fertility, childbirth, creation, but also she can rule over politics and war as well, by the way. So she represents inner strength, spiritual connections. So again, there is another one here, which is pretty much talking to us about strength and stamina and fertility, which means that we are the ones who actually can manifest something. Well, in a lower manifestation, this asteroid would talk to you about toxic relationships and jealousy. In that case, that and Uranus wants you to liberate yourself from them. With Neptune, yeah, we understand we are all different, right? But it doesn't serve me, so I'm going to let them go, right? But fertility indicates that we give birth to something. I mean, definitely it could talk to you about how much of a question fertility or the newborn babies are going to be. That's a possibility also. I mean, Pluto and Humaya has been squaring each other since 2020. So if we say that Humaya is about a seed, Pluto in Capricorn is about responsibility, and the Libra, what type of choices we make, then you know what? It is about the choices are defining our success. And we just need to take responsibility for our own actions and accepting that we made the right choice or we made the wrong one overall. I mean, Pluto and Humaya aspects, wow, I mean, it's been going on for a while. So we had 2022 an exact square, but they have been within orb since 2020, as I said. 2022, May 8th, we had one. 2023, April, we had one square between them two. Then Huaya went back into the sign of Libra on the 22nd of April. And then we have got again this exact square happening between them two on the 28th of July. And then we're gonna have 24, 25, 26, 27. So Pluto and Humaya has been dancing together for another 5 years. So you know what? These are just initial processes, what this new moon is actually highlighting this time around. Fully, we're just gonna be seeing that probably in 27, 28. So this is a very prominent new moon overall. It's about metaphysical studies. It's about volcano eruptions, unfortunately, with Humaya. We should be expecting that. Even Humaya can talk about atom bombs as well, coupled with Pluto, you know, the threat around it. But also, this could be about genius studies and so forth. I did mention about Humaya that, you know what, after her discovery, Barack Obama was elected as the US president, and he was actually born in Hawaii, right? So that's also very interesting. Um, Umaya wants to believe in equality and fairness, but then Pluto is trying to break down the walls there. You know, the wars between, let's say, nations, for example. So we might be seeing some type of political matters popping up with trying to break down some of the warriors between, warriors, barriers, sorry, between certain countries, for example. And then we have got also Aries involved. Now, Aries asteroid is about fighting for independence, fighting for your rights. It's a little bit of a social unrest type of energy. So, yes, this can talk to you about such things as riots, demonstrations, or just yapping about something, unfortunately, because we feel that we are getting suppressed overall. Internally, we feel that, you know, that something is just not right, that our domestic life is actually challenged, or the roots of my well-being or just being, you know, is questioned by others. So this could bring in some type of discrimination act as well, by the way, with this Pluto new moon and Aries, Humaya, Grand Cross, what is going on overall. Yes, so that would be the Aries energy here. I mean, there is a lot to mention about Aries, but I'm trying to just put in as much information as I can here. But what I really feel is that the old ways and the new ways are getting distinguished here with this new moon, and there is a need to upgrade our life, our approaches to certain type of things. Now let's have a look at for each 12 sign what you might be expecting. So what I'm going to do here for you is that I'm going to be looking at the axis where this Pluto new moon is happening alongside with Aries and Humaya. Of course, these are the most important significators here. So for an Aries rising sign, we have got the fourth, the 10th, the first, and the seventh house getting activated. So this is a major change for you. It could talk about identity crisis. I don't know who I am anymore. It definitely what I've described for you previously, especially at the beginning, probably most of them apply to you as well. Getting a stronger foundation, getting a stronger core for yourself. Often you're going to have to choose between family and work, but also figuring out who you are, figuring out whether you are on the right path. Maybe, I want to change job. I just don't know whether I'm, ready for that as well. And often we might feel a little bit confused as well, whether we are on the right track, are we heading in the right directions too? So there could be some type of questions. Remember that you are ruled by Mars, right? And Mars is about physical power. So, but sometimes Mars gets really passionate about something and then burns out really quickly as well. Now, this is all about uh, gathering your courage and making some type of changes around it. But the new moon is in the fourth house, which is the house of sleep and rest overall. So you might feel a little bit tired this time around this new moon, emotionally drained, emotionally and physically, fatigue overall. So spare your energies, do a little bit of a self-care. You know what, this time around, maybe we don't need the HIIT sessions, for example, at the gym. I'm just going to be walking or jogging a little bit, at least for about 10 days, slowing down, taking care of the muscles and so forth. So that might be something to be mindful about so that you have got more strength of attending all your duties. Because that Pluto in Capricorn wants to get rid of some of the duties here, surely because the new moon wants to be resting this time around for yourself. But also, your home environment gets really emphasized here. Maybe you are moving into a new home. Maybe actually you want to be selling a home. Maybe you want to do some renovation in your home. But definitely, it's maybe an invitation to spend a little bit more time at home because you're getting tired of all the burdens what you are facing at work. And you need a bit of support. And as we said, it's okay to ask for a support from the members of the family because they will be there. And maybe they're just waiting for you to come around and ask for help. If you have got Taurus rising sign, then it's going to be triggering your mutable houses. So the 3, 9, 12, and the 6th house. So this is an invitation to be mentally closer to yourself as well as to others. It is asking you to look at your thought patterns. It is asking you to not just gather data and study all the time, but start testing your knowledge by real examples. So imagine that you've been practicing astrology for a very long time, but you are actually squared you are actually scared to get going with it because you might not feel, you might not feel overall that you can do it. Now, this is definitely an indication, and it's time to get going with somewhere. But also, it's about learning about yourself, about your dreams. Yes, this could bring you some nightmares. This could bring you that the past is actually haunting you and kind of like scraping up in your subconscious. And how are you gonna let go of them? Knowing that these dreams are not real, they just in our heads. Because actually, with this combination, you can get stuck in your own head, and therefore you are not moving forward. So, a major invitation for you here to change your perception over the world, but also it's invitation to focus on communication, right? It's about taking your own power back. It's about being an advocate for yourself but you're gonna have to use your voice, right? Or you're gonna have to make faster decisions, or you're gonna have to realize something in your life, or you have to talk about your own needs. You're gonna have to put your pride aside that, you know what, um, I'm allowed to speak up. That's so important for you this time around to do that. Also, it could talk about because you are ruled by Venus and Taurus loves its food and so forth. So this is telling you to, for example, plan something in your life. I mean, there is sixth house activation here too, right? So it's about healthiness, it's about nourishment to the body as well, not just thinking about it, but maybe start doing something as well. Maybe you just want to be moving a little bit more around. So weight training could be a great option for you this time around. If you have got Gemini rising sign, then this is going to be happening in your financial houses, second, 8, 11, and the fifth. So obviously money might be on focus for you. So do I owe money to someone? Does anyone owe me money, which I want to get back? Or I'm just considering earning more money? Or maybe it's about examining your own talent, in what ways I can make more money, what ways not, right? But also whether I've got all the bravery I need to start a new long-term project in my life, which we need to know that it takes time to kick off, but eventually it can kick off for you. Of course, you Gemini are ruled by Mercury. You have got a fast way of thinking about this. It's about mental well-being, right? So definitely you are invited, you are forced actually to slow down a little bit with the succeeding houses and to examine your actions, or to try to quiet your mind a little bit. You have got a tendency to be in your head 24/7, but sometimes we're gonna have to just switch off as well, and not just being focused all the time on one thing. And maybe that's how the fifth house is going to get switched on here for you, which is, and the 11th, which is about fun and being around friends and so forth. And then you might get inspired by your friends and so forth. And then you're going to have some great ideas overall. Also, another question is whether, your self-worth is linked to your net worth. So how much money you give, right? And you're gonna have to come up with ideas to kind of boost that. The fifth house is about creativity. So do you believe that you are creative enough? So there is a new beginning for you, about manifesting, crystallizing, and building on your ideas. And it might take a long time, but you can get there. Cancer rising sign. So it's going to be happening in your first, seventh house, and then also the fourth and the 10th house getting active here as well. First of all, I recommend listening to the Aries rising sign for you as well, because that information I gave you is going to be very similar. Please go back there. But I'm going to add a couple of additional thoughts on that. Why the Aries is because the same house is going to get affected for you as well. But because it falls into your first house, it's about knowing that my home is the body. So it is talking to you about how emotional you can become, in what ways to heal some ancestry karma for you. It's definitely about breaking away from old structures and old ways of thinking about your relationship department, something which you feel that it's not empowering anymore, and making you vulnerable. And because you are a leader, you're going to have to initiate that. But you are an emotionally led leader. So remember that your overpowered emotions can affect your judgment as well. You're going to have to figure out what's right for you, and not waiting around for others to come and get you going. right? So definitely it's a psychological period for you. You know, maybe you're gonna see that loads of people or your partner is reliant on you, right? Your partner is kind of forcing you to talk up about your secrets, for example. The partner is trying to break down the barrier for you. Maybe it's about you wanting to have consultations or a counseling session with someone, which is going to get you one step closer to your inner secrets, which you might not even know about. The whole idea here is that you are not meant to be keeping these within yourself. You're gonna have to let them out because it's gonna feel empowering and you're gonna release a major tension. It is the first house, so definitely it's about the rituals you do, for example, in the mornings, a bit of pampering. You deserve it. Maybe jump into a pool on a daily basis. Maybe have a glass of champagne in the bathtub. You know, how you are going to be comforting your needs because your needs are just as important than other people's needs as well. And this is exactly what you are reminded to do. So, next sign is Leo. So, if you have got a Leo rising sign, then I recommend listening to the Taurus rising sign as well, just because I gave some knowledge which applies to you. The same house positions will get activated for you just in different orders. So, this is going to be the 12th house, third house, ninth house, and the sixth house. So I'm not going to repeat what I said in regards to um, Taurus, but I'm going to add additional thoughts to it. Remember that Leo is about performance. It's about self-confidence and creativity. So the question is that are you faking your emotions here? This could be a major topic for you. Faking emotions, it doesn't mean that you are fake though. So do not misunderstand me. What I'm trying to say is that are you trying to show that emotions do not count? I'm not emotional. I don't care about what is happening around us because I want to come across stronger. Yes, this could definitely talk about trying to say bigger things, again, because the self-importance becomes a major topic here, right? But also, Leo sign loves having a bit of fun. And because you've got the Caden house is getting activated for you, you know what this would talk to you about sometimes spending a little bit of a time with yourself, but also sometimes just getting out there, traveling a little bit, going and dancing around, singing, karaoke, and so forth, enjoying life to the fullest. But then we have got this emotional intensity going on for you, which is withdrawing you from any of this, right? So the emotions, what we've got is overbearing for you at the moment, which is affecting your mood. Now, your mood can change, your perception, your mind can change when you are surrounded by fun people. So this is one message I would like to give you. But the other one is that your belief system needs to go through a tremendous amount of change. And it is telling you that you're going to have to start looking at your health. For example, you're going to have to apply some self-care because that's more important than going to a party, for example, and being in the center of a stage. You cannot burn the candle from both ends, basically, right? So it's about maintaining your positive attitude, maintaining your positive habits, and replacing the old ones with a new one, knowing that every single day is a brand new day and I can do something for myself so I can mentally feel better. This is a mental um, care, basically, what you need to be applying. Okay, so the next one is a Virgo rising sign. So if you have a Virgo rising sign, I recommend also listening to the Gemini rising sign as well, or all the mutable signs, because the same house position will get triggered for you. Remember, we're talking about a cardinal cross here. So for you, you're going to have the second, fifth, eighth, and the 11th house getting activated, but I'm still going to give you some additional thoughts, which you might want to pair up with all the other mutable signs. So we've got some of your dreams, hopes, and visions getting activated here. And if you are planting the seeds, then actually it can happen. You can make it a reality, but it also depends on how good your intentions are, how specific you are about what you want, you know, and also something needs to be gone from the past because it's affecting you. Maybe it's something you have initiated in 2022 October, and then in the next few months, you're going to start seeing those paying off for you. But also, opportunities sometimes come from the connections we make with people. So, are you making positive connections with others? Are you creative overall? Or did you let go of your creativity and at one point because you believe that it's not going to work out for you? So that's one of the major message I would like to give you today. And the other one is that, you know what? It could really talk about having a bit of heartache. Heartache, not necessarily just a physical point of view, but maybe a little bit of a love story. You got deceived by someone, you had a breakup, and you emotionally have not been able to separate yourself from that situation, which might be affecting your finances, for example. Maybe you have become a little bit disorganized or messy, and then you're gonna have to clean up the mess around yourself. So this is something where you're gonna have to strip down your emotions to the basics, right? It's about cleaning up your surroundings. No needs to have clutter. No need to cry over the spilled milk, basically. You are ruled by Mercury, so your mind is extremely um, important for you. You need mental stimulation. So if you stop overthinking, but actually you're going to start decluttering your thoughts as well as your immediate environment, then you know what? You're going to start feeling better. You can sleep better. And then your judgment over things is going to be better as well, such as your finances, long-term goals, who you are, and how you can make more money. If you have got a Libra rising sign, then I recommend listening to Aries, Cancer, and Capricorn as well, just because the same house positions will get activated for you too, just like the other three. So these are your cardinal houses, basically, the first, fourth, seventh, and the 10th house. I'm still going to give you some additional thoughts, though. Remember, Libra is ruled by Venus, and Venus is about to turn retrograde, right? So Venus is about pleasure, indulgence, our likings, our favorite things, right? So this time around, your favorite stuff could be, for example, around how much time we spend together with our partner, how much time we spend, for example, at work. It's really about a life and work balance, what is going on for you. So this could talk to you about the need to be able to be on your own as well, but also spending time with your family too, for example. But at the same time, this would talk to you about that your career needs a bit more focus as well. Home life, great. You are always going to be about balance. So this is definitely affecting you, where finding the right balance of how much time we spend at home and how much time we spend at work as well. So we need a bit of structure here. But also it's about looking at your path, right? So maybe you were a stay-at-home mom previously, right? And then you are about to get back to work and you are a little bit afraid that you are not going to be able to climb up to the top like you were before. But maybe some of the old opportunities, what you had previously, are going to come back to you. They're going to present themselves to you. Right, but also remember that this new moon is about emotions. So the emotions are holding us back. I haven't done that business for a while, for example. So I would need to brush up my skills. And anyway, we can come up with different types of excuses. But is that really gonna get you go forward? Right? So but also it's the needs of the company I work for versus my own needs. So how to find balance with family, partnership, and work all together. If you have got a Scorpio rising sign, then I recommend listening to um, the other three fixed signs as well, such as Taurus, Leo, and Aquarius, because the same house position will get triggered for you, just in different order. So this is going to be happening in your third, ninth, 12th, and the sixth house. Um, Now, this new moon is actually trining you. So it might be, I mean, it still presents some type of challenges, but maybe you can easily overcome them. Maybe you are actually having a old project which was canceled previously, right? Or you are initiating some type of business trip, for example. So something which might require you to travel. It is happening in your ninth house, which is the house of teaching or education. Maybe your education was put on a pause and then you are ready to restart because you want to be expanding your skills. And why do you want to expand your skills? Is because maybe you want to get a better career opportunity, for example. But also, this could talk to you about because the ninth house is something to do with fertility as well. It's the fifth from the fifth. So some of you might become a grandparent, for example, with this new moon, but also it could talk about focusing on children, grandchildren, and their education too. But also, you might, because Scorpio is a fixed sign, often, and definitely this is affecting you because Pluto is opposing this new moon, the modern ruler. So it's about your mind to be cleared, decluttered. You might have been too opinionated about something. Maybe you feel emotionally stagnant for a while now. And maybe a travel is going to help you to actually get out of that mindset. This might be a toxic mindset, right? But this new moon, even though it comes with challenges, Scorpio rising sign is usually up for challenge, right? But it's about the mental discomfort, the mental comfort zone, which you're gonna have to get out of that. You know what? It also could, Scorpio is interested in sex and intimacy and these deep bonds, what we make. Because we've got this grand cross here, which includes two oppositions. You know what? Relationship department do come up here as a potential topic for you. So, how is the intimacy department going on? For example, do you have some set thoughts about it? Then maybe we need to upgrade our thoughts. Remember, Uranus is sextile in this new moon. So there is the upgrade, the modernization going on with that. And Neptune trine talks to you about just going with the flow. Sagittarius rising sign, I recommend listening to the other three mutable signs as well. So Gemini, Virgo, and Pisces. Just because you're going to have the same houses getting activated with this Grand Cross. But this is going to be happening in your financial houses. So, you know what? We are talking about Sagittarius, which is a half an animal and half a human. So it's definitely about getting in touch, you know, with our human and animalistic side as well. The animalism is very much about the instinctual behavior, right? And the human side is something which we think through. Now, this is exactly what's happening here with this new moon opposition Pluto and so forth. That you know what, we have got a gut feeling, and we're gonna have to trust our gut feelings to go with that. So that's the instinct, what I'm pretty much talking to you about, right? But it's very possible that you are gonna be um, you are going to be wanting to make some type of improvements, for example, in your work environment. You want to be making improvements in your health as well. Maybe you have been going through some health challenges for a while actually. And especially, you might want to see what was going on in 2021 in your life because you got triggered there too with your health department. And maybe this is a period of time when you actually can start fresh, or you're going to see some positive breakthroughs overall. But also, I mean, the physical body becomes extremely important here for you. So, how much I eat, who I am, but also at the same time, this would talk to you about the creation of the money. It could talk about a little bit of a crisis situation in your relationship department, too, by the way. So, how does that affect me emotionally? Am I starting to eat more? And so forth. But at the same time, I believe that it's about getting stronger emotionally day by day and investing more into your physical well-being. So that you can have, for example, a bit of a better um, future overall. That's the whole idea here. Definitely, we've got because it's gonna be happening in your eighth house, right? Which is other people's money. So, do you expect, for example, to get a loan, a mortgage? Does anyone owe you money? Are you expecting someone to give you money back, for example? But of course, at the same time, we all want to earn more money as well. So how are you gonna do that? How are you gonna boost your finances a little bit more? Capricorn rising sign. So you know what? This is happening in your seventh house. So I recommend listening to all the cardinal signs because you're gonna get affected by those as well a little bit. So Aries, Cancer, and Libra as well at the same time, and try to merge the information. But primarily, I'm still gonna give you some additional thoughts here. So obviously, the relationship department gets activated. Whether you have got a desire to be in a new relationship or you want to be fixing the old one. But whatever is going on through our brain, something needs to change, right? This is a time of a manifestation this time around, but there are some bits and bobs you're going to have to let go. Pluto in your first house tells you that you're going to have to look into the mirror because we all, we need two to tango. Partner screws up, we have screwed up something as well. So there is the examination of our emotions. Am I still in love with someone or am I not? Do I need a new partner? Am I actually getting what I want from my partner? Are my needs met somehow? But also, this is about the truth sets us free. So you might want to be having a conversation with your partner about your true intentions or true feelings, right? What is the motivation? What changes do I want to make in the relationship? But just make sure that whatever kind of solution you guys come up with, that needs to align with your personal needs as well at the same time. And that would be so important here. Also, you know what? You might be in a kind of like a competition with your partner, for example, right? Because there is Pluto involved, which is about the power struggles. So how can you not be in a competition with someone else, but can you actually be in competition with yourself? This might be the reminder here. It might be about wanting to sign a business agreement, for example, or any type of agreement, but we run into some type of bureaucracy, for example, or some legal matters which come up and needs to be fixed. That is also, I mean, you are Capricorn, so you are all about planning, seriousness, dedication. So you might need to be looking at whether I'm dedicating way too much time to a certain type of relationship, but then do I get anything back in return? This could be a major question for you. Aquarius rising sign, I recommend listening to all the fixed signs. So Taurus, Leo, and Scorpio as well, because the same houses will get activated for you by this Grand Cross. So, you know what? If you have got an Aquarius rising sign, this is going to be happening in your sixth house. So, but all the Keton houses get activated for you. And the key success factor to the sixth house is regularity. So, you know what? Maybe it's going to you about picking up a new health regime, for example, right? Maybe actually you feel pushed by your workplace, right? That you're going to have to make a decision about something, but then you want to be choosing your well-being because you feel like that you are emotionally drained and you need a bit of rest as well. You had a new moon happening in 2020. Again, you might not new moon, sorry. This new moon somehow is a repetition of 2021 for you. So it might be about changing your routines, changing your workplace, for example. You might fear that there is no growth anymore. Remember that sometimes our feelings are not facts and they need to be justified. The feelings are always a little bit judgmental or clouding our judgments, I would say. And that's exactly what Pluto is telling you, that you're gonna have to look at your dreams, you're gonna have to look at your subconscious a little bit. What is limiting your growth overall? There is an invitation here to manage your feelings, but also to manage your body as well at the same time. you know, Sometimes we're going to have to look at our spiritual approach to things, not knowing that the universe always has got our back. The universe knows better, and we are always on the right track because that gives us some element of personal growth as well. Also, remember that you are ruled by Uranus in modern astrology. In traditional astrology, this is Saturn. Now, Uranus is tied to this new moon. So, starting something about habits, about finances, about eating, for example, this could be a great period of time. It might be just the fact that you walk out and you're gonna start doing some stargazing, for example, right? It's also about looking up the sky and then maybe wanting to get some type of information from them. I mean, the houses of knowledges get triggered in your chart, at the same time. It's about you gathered so much knowledge so far. So it's actually time to put it into practice. Are you an eternal student or are you actually, a teacher type? eventually. And last but not least, if you have got Pisces rising sign, then I do recommend listening to all the mutable signs because the Grand Cross is going to be happening in your same house, just in different order. So that might be something to remember. The fifth house is going to get triggered for you. You might want to go and swim a little bit, right? It's about doing something what we love. I mean, Pisces is kind of like a mermaid or a merman type of archetype, right? So it loves spending time on the beach. It loves spending time in the swimming pool. It kind of loves being around like-minded people as well, just with a bit of balance of privacy as well. So remember that the modern ruler, Neptune, is actually trining this new moon. There's something to do with water is great. Just watch out for all the parties, not trying to drink away your sorrows. Because remember, this new moon, as I explained at the beginning, is emotionally pretty intense as well. Now, this could spark your psychic abilities too, by the way. So if you want to draw a card about your future, maybe the muses will give you a very direct but a little bit blurry message, but you can actually interpret that. You know what? You can actually smell flowers or do a bit of candle magic and, again, a kind of like a spiritual cleansing or a spiritual bath. I would love that. Also, the fifth house is something to do with creativity and self-expression. Now, this Pluto new moon pretty much tells you that, you know what, the barriers need to be broken down and you can be unapologetically you. What are your long-term hopes and dreams and wishes? Have you actually started doing them? Because this new moon pretty much tells you that you can now do that. It's about the growth of the self. It's about transforming who you are and somehow manifesting your dreams into reality. Because there is this saying, if I can dream it, I can do it, right? So put everything into it. Also, this is the house of fertility as well. So you might become a parent, for example, but at the same time, definitely it's about getting in touch with our heart desire. It's about a little bit of a cleansing around our childhood experiences as well. So, guys, this is my new moon analysis for you. I hope you have enjoyed it. And if you did so, I would like you to press a like. And maybe you want to share the video with others, but at least subscribe to the channel, support the channel's growth so I can make you more and more free content. Thank you, everyone, and I will see you soon. Bye-bye.